Success is not the destination but the entire journey. What people notice is the end point, but what you retain is the journey and the learnings along the journey.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Soumya. I did my UG from AIIMS Bhubaneswar. I recently cleared the INICET and NEETPG entrance examinations and got decent ranks in both. In this video, I would love to share my strategy, my timetable, my schedules, as well as my journey overall. My preparation didn't start in the last 6 months or even 1 year back. It started in 2016 when I took admission in AIIMS Bhubaneswar with the All India AIIMS UG rank of 127. I felt really lucky to be studying in one of the most prestigious colleges, medical colleges of India. Throughout the first and second year, I tried to read standard textbooks like Harper and Robbins and more, as advised by our seniors and our teachers in college. What struck me was the integrity and the zeal to excel in everyone present there. Our seniors never advised to go through shortcuts or read subpart textbooks. So throughout those first and second year, I tried to read the standard textbooks. But while doing that, what I realized was my fear of missing out, which led me to make extensive and vast notes. Now, I'm not saying that making vast notes is bad. I mean, everything has two sides, right? So, I'll explain the benefits of making extensive vast notes later on in the video. But the point being, I made extensive vast notes in those years, and what I realized after that, after going through that intense concept building phase, was that I needed some structured guidance about what was important and what I needed to know. It was in the sixth semester, third year, when I decided to join a coaching institute. I joined 6 months DAMS foundation course. I used to go for weekend classes and attend clinic and college lectures the rest of the week. So while preparing for the PG entrance examination, I made sure not to disregard college at all. I attended all the lectures in DAMS, but I was not satisfied with the amount of information. Please bear in mind that I still had that fear of missing out. So I decided to take Marrow subscription based on some friends' experiences, and oh boy, I just loved it. The amount of information was just as extensive as I felt was necessary for myself. So this might be a very controversial statement, but I believe that if I have more information initially, I can cut down and selectively remember eventually. But if I start with lesser information, I'll have to remember it all. I also realized that these PG entrance examinations had a lot of focus on data and information, even in slightly conceptual examinations like INICET. Keeping that in mind, throughout the third and fourth year, I watched Marrow lectures, I read some standard textbooks, and collected information from all the sources that I felt was important, and created a single resource for myself, which was my base course. Like I said before, I discovered benefits of making extensive notes. Because of this, while I was going through the standard textbooks, it was easier and faster to read those books because I had already understood the concept and I knew what was important. It also removed a very huge barrier for me of following different strategies for college examination and entrance examination. See, our brain doesn't like complexities, different processes, different strategies, all that confuses our brain more. So I didn't study separately for college entrance examinations. I had one basic set of notes which I used for all examinations. 1 month prior to my college professional examination, I would add on certain flowcharts or practice some images, but nothing more than that because I was reading the subject matter for the last 2 years anyway. I gave the final professional examination and got decent rank and started my internship. Internship was a completely different game altogether. We all started working as colleagues and started earning. So this newfound freedom, if we may call it that, strayed me a lot from my studies. I didn't study at all during internship, not anything that mattered. I took DAMS test and discussion, and I solved a total of 3 to 4 tests and maybe a couple more in the next year. But I made sure to watch the explanation videos of those tests. I gave a total of 2 to 3 grand tests in that entire year, but I didn't review the grand tests, so I didn't know if the answers I gave were right or wrong. I barely studied 6 to 7 subjects in that entire year, and with that preparation, I went and gave the INICET November 2020. I got a rank of 2347. I was shattered. Even though I knew I had not studied well for that examination, the result made me really sad. I started doubting myself. See, I had made it my identity that I study well and do well in examination. So when that didn't happen, I started doubting myself and thinking whether I'm good enough. What got me out of that was introspecting myself and finding out more about myself. I found out my study style. Most people don't understand the importance of finding out your own study style. I also learned more about my mental health and ways to motivate myself. I also realized that this examination would be a marathon and not a sprint. Fast forward 2 months ahead to January 15, 2022. I restarted a focused attempt at clearing this examination. I made a macro and a micro timetable for myself and a daily schedule that I followed rigorously. I used to spend most of the time throughout the day going through my notes. I had realized the importance of giving grand tests, so I made it a habit to give one grand test every Sunday from February onwards between 9 a.m. to 12 noon to replicate the main examination. And the rest of the week I would use to review that grand test. I didn't solve many MCQs, and in hindsight, that was one mistake that I could have avoided. That was one of the gravest mistakes I did. But what compensated for it partially was the fact that I used to solve previous year questions and read related previous year topics, because previous year questions and most of the related topics are very frequently repeated. I finished my first round of reading by the end of March, and I packed in 3 rounds of revision. I followed different strategies in each of the different revision. For the first round of revision from 1st of April to 20th of April, I rapidly selectively went through my notes. I would flip through my notes and try to recall actively what was there in that page. If I could recall, good. If I couldn't remember, which used to be the case most times, I would rapidly go through that page and then go to the next topic. For the second round of revision from 21st of April to 30th of April, I mainly focused on the past grand tests that I had given. I would review the subjects of the day for via the grand tests, and then I would go through a list of important topics that I had made for myself. If I still had time remaining, I would go through some free Unacademy videos of Dr. Zainab Bora ma'am. That was one resource I discovered towards the end of my preparation phase, and I regret not watching those videos earlier. For the third round of revision from 1st to 6th of May, I mainly focused selectively on my notes. I used to flip through my notes. I focused on the previous year questions, the bookmark MCQs from the grand tests, and the screenshots that I had collected over months. This video is getting longer, so I will share my macro and micro schedule as well as my daily schedule in the next video. If you are interested in this type of content and want to follow my journey and remain connected to me, you can subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Summarizing the lessons I learned in my journey. Number 1, you need to find out your own study style. Do you study better when you watch some videos, or do you study better while listening? Do you need to go through your notes first, or do you prefer retrospective studies via MCQs? Number 2, having one single basic set of notes which you can always go back to, preferably your handwritten notes. Number 3, practice MCQs, preferably in the form of previous year questions, and read the related topics. Number 4, give grand tests from the beginning of the preparation regularly, and more importantly, review them. Number 5, discipline and consistency are important life skills, and this exam can be taken as an opportunity to learn these skills. And number 6, There is no alternative to revision. That is the key. What we actually learn for the first initial 6 months is how to revise the important and volatile topics in the last one week. Everyone is at different stages in their own respective journey. So, most importantly, we have to listen to our body, mind, and soul and trust ourselves. We all have the capacity to become our highest, truest self, and all we have to do is work on ourselves. This much for today's video. If you like the content or the effort, you can show that by smashing the like button. Any suggestions, good or bad, in the comment section will help me improve my video making skills. Thank you for watching today's content and have a nice day.